Do you know that the combination of carbon-based life and silicon-based intelligence will be the key to transforming human civilization into a 1.0 plus civilization in the next 50 years? When AlphaDog beat Lee Sedol on the chessboard, some people predicted that human intelligence was about to come to an end. When ChatGPT wrote papers comparable to those of college students, scholars began to discuss the question of whether it was necessary for the traditional education system to exist. But if we stretch the timeline to 4 billion years of life evolution, these sensational events are but a wave in the long river of civilization. The really important question is, why is it that in the cycle of extinction of countless species, humans are the only ones who have managed to sharpen their stone axes into chips and turn campfires into nuclear fusion? The answer may be hidden in the depths of our cerebral cortex, where there is a never-extinguished flame called desire. When John McCarthy introduced the concept of artificial intelligence at the Dartmouth conference in 1956, he would not have imagined that the term would cause global anxiety 70 years later. But a look at the history of technology reveals that similar fears have never ceased. When the steam engine appeared, craftsmen smashed their machines. When the camera was invented, painters predicted the death of art. The panic triggered by AI today is nothing more than the instinctive vigilance of mankind against tools. The Manchester Museum in the UK holds the oldest stone tools, basalt flakes, hammered by Homo erectus 3.3 million years ago. The intelligence revolution then was even more dramatic than today, when the first primitive man realized that stone could be transformed. The tools in his hands were destined to evolve into today's quantum computers. Silicon-based intelligence is essentially the ultimate form of stone tools, expanding on the ability to transform that humanity awakened to millions of years ago rather than creating new civilized subjects. In 2016, the MIT lab did a cruel experiment, implanting optogenetic chips into the brains of mice that could stimulate pleasure centers with the push of a button. As a result, all the mice frantically pressed the buttons until they starved to death. The experiment revealed the dangers of the pleasure system, but also the uniqueness of human beings. We have a more sophisticated anti-addiction system in our brains. The prefrontal cortex, a new organ that evolved only 200,000 years ago, has taught humans to delay gratification. When ancient Egyptian engineers built the pyramids in the desert, they had to fight not only gravity, but also the biological instinct for instant gratification. This ability to transform short-term desires into long-term goals is known in neuroscience as overshooting inhibition. Like a tamer taming a wild animal, humans use reason to tame their instincts. AI systems still mimic our primitive desire patterns of 200,000 years ago, and their goal functions are nothing more than digital codes set by humans. The misunderstood symbiosis of civilization. When Musk demonstrated the brain-computer interface, monkey playing ping-pong with his mind, the audience only saw the technological miracle, but ignored the more important fact that the monkey still dances for the winning banana. This reveals the essence of human-computer integration. It is not about machines replacing humans, but about bringing tools back to their roots. Paleolithic flint knives extended the human hand. Today's AI is merely extending the cerebral cortex. Archaeologists found 17,000-year-old frescoes in the Lascaux cave in France, and those running bison proved that humans were never passively adapted to their environment. When primitive people painted on rock walls with mineral pigments, they were engaging in the earliest creations of virtual reality, reconstructing three-dimensional worlds out of two-dimensional planes. Today's AI paintings are strikingly similar. The same data reconstructs reality, but the Lascaux cave painters dance over their work while the Stable Diffusion model silently generates the next image. An overlooked evolutionary leap. In the Galapagos Islands, Darwin discovered that finches on different islands had evolved different beak shapes. This adaptive evolution is being reproduced in human beings in the form of technology. Nearsighted people extend their vision with eyeglasses, and heart patients extend their lives with pacemakers. Disabled people fitted with robotic arms can play the piano, and hearing-impaired people with cochlear implants can enjoy symphonies. These are not science fiction, but evolution in the making. When Japanese scientists developed the HAL exoskeleton, which allowed paralyzed elderly people to stand again, we saw not machines triumphing over flesh, but life being reborn in technology. It's reminiscent of the Cambrian explosion of life, a qualitative leap in life forms when biology would use calcium to build bones. Today's human reconstruction of the nervous system with silicon-based components is just another skeletal revolution in evolutionary history. Launched in 1977, Voyager carried copper records inscribed with greetings in 55 human languages. This move, derided at the time as a romantic fantasy, reveals the essence of civilization's survival. Humans are always looking for a vehicle that transcends individual life. Today's AI continues this mission to some extent. When programmers feed the complete works of Shakespeare into a neural network, they are actually performing the digital age's knot tying. But there's a detail that's often overlooked. The Voyager recordings contain not only Bach's score, but also the sound waves of a mother kissing her baby and the roar of a Saturn V rocket. These unquantifiable experiences of life are the true genes of civilization. As linguist Noam Chomsky points out, the GPT-4 can mimic all grammatical structures, but it will never understand the tears that glistened in that mother's eyes the first time a baby cried out, "Mummy." On the shores of Lake Turkana in Kenya, archaeologists have discovered 1.42 million-year-old symmetrical hand axes. The tool, which needed to be struck hundreds of times in a row to be shaped, proves that humans at the time already had aesthetic pursuits that transcended practical needs. What today's AI developers may not realize is that they are building the most complex hand axe in human history. Only the material has been replaced by code and the tapping tool by a keyboard. When the brain-computer interface allows patients with tachyphylaxis to control their wheelchairs with their minds, and when AI-assisted diagnostic systems save lives in remote mountainous areas, what we see is not a confrontation between man and machine, but the transmission of the flame of an ancient civilization. Just as those primitive people did not know that the hand axe would evolve into a space shuttle, today we cannot imagine the ultimate form of human-machine integration. But what is certain is that as long as human beings can still move their hearts for the stars, shed tears for love, and boil their blood for the unknown, the torch of civilization will never be extinguished. 4 billion years ago, the first single-celled organism was born at the mouth of a hot spring at the bottom of the sea today. In some laboratories, scientists are observing the discharge of neurons bonded to graphene. Running through between these two scenes is the never-compromising evolutionary work of life. It has allowed fish to grow limbs, and land allowed apes to walk upright. And now it is guiding mankind to write a new chapter of civilization with silicon-based intelligence. This is not a replacement, but a transcendence, not the end, but the beginning.